Hello, I'm Kenneth Branagh, narrator of CNN's documentary series Cold War. The Cold War was not only the longest war of this century, it was the first multimedia war. The challenge in producing 24 one-hour television programs was to create a comprehensive multimedia documentation of this 50-year conflict. Well, such a story begins with a strong leader, and ours was Sir Jeremy Isaacs, who put together a multinational team of historians, journalists, film researchers, and producers. It's been a long and challenging process, and during this hour, we'll show you how this diverse team chronicled the making of history.
Долой его и похоронить его, чем глубже, тем лучше.
These are the people who've got the fate of the planet in their hands, and somehow or other we managed to survive it.
We believe that peace is at hand.
No other war threatened the existence of humanity before. We really were quite lucky to escape without being annihilated.
He wanted a series that did justice to the experience, not just of the principal protagonists in the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union, and it should do equal justice to their experiences, but he wanted a series that showed how the Cold War affected the lives of people in every continent.
It's program 14, and it's about the Eastern, the 60s in the East. And one of the events that took place there was the Soviet invasion of Czechoslovakia in 1968, which I think is one of the most moving and one of the most dramatic episodes in the series. And what we wanted to do is to sort of see the broad span of politics as well as the individual, what happened to individuals during the course of the Cold War. And we looked through a lot of archive film, obviously, and there's some incredibly moving stuff about the Prague Spring, about the invasion. And we came across one piece of archive film where a woman is in a street, a demonstration's taking place. The street gets very crowded. The tanks are moving in, armoured vehicles are moving in, there's tremendous mayhem, there's enormous anger going on at the same time. Then the tank runs over a woman who's crushing her leg. You can just see her, she's pulled out and she's in the street, and that picture I thought was incredible. Of the woman, her face was just wonderful. So, and it expressed so much. So what we decided to do was to go out and try and find her.
People moved to the side streets. But there were so many of us, we couldn't all fit in those narrow streets. I was at the edge of the crowd. The armed car struck me. There was nothing I could do. It hit my knee with the front wheel.
This is a project which is made up of two components. You know, it has interviews with people who were part of the historical events, and it also has newsreel footage. And an hour of just these realistic sounds, in a sense, is rather dry for the audience. And what the music does is intermittently humanize it a bit by adding an emotional level.
Jeremy very much wanted a strong, classic title sequence. He wanted a sequence which said, this is big, this is important, this involves us all.